Hey guys, an Empire Fallen here, and I'm bringing you another battle report. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you would notice there's been nothing to watch. Since basically the Hawke's Bay Regional Championship came to untimely end, I haven't had the chance to put out any more battle reports. I've only probably had a handful of, well, I've had a good few games, only a handful of them I've taken photos to do battle reports for, but I've just run out of time to do them. Or when I have had a chance, it's been far too gone since the game itself that I can't remember anything. So we've, in that time period, we've had War Banner tournament as well, which took a lot of time, hobby time away to focus on getting that ready. And yeah, so I finally got the chance to actually create a battle report, and hopefully it all goes as planned. Hopefully I can remember what on earth I'm doing, and fingers crossed you'll see more from this channel over the next little while. In a couple of days time, I travel up to Auckland to compete in the second ever 9th Age Invitationals, which is basically the 9th Age version of Masters in New Zealand, and battle it out against the other 13 top competitors in the country, which will be great fun. It'll be interesting. I say other top 13 competitors in the country. It's actually only the other top 12 competitors in the country, because one of the competitors for it is actually flying over from Australia. And I've got the pleasure of staying with him along with the co-captain for the 2018 ETC team, which I have had my application to accepted. So bring on Croatia. I cannot wait. Anyways, so this is a game against one of my local guys, Chris, and his Undying Dynasties. Now, Chris hasn't played a lot of 9th Age recently. Well, over the last sort of year, he competed in the first 9th Age tournament in the country, and then after that, he just got caught up really busy between work and study and setting up business. So he's only just recently been able to manage to find time to get some games in. And yes, so he's brought out his Undying Dynasties list. He's playing around with few list ideas and tweaking them to find something that really works for him. Great person to play if you ever get the opportunity to play him. It's always a good game. So yeah, let's get into it. So going left to right, front to back, we have a unit of fast cav. In his center, we have his War Kitty. Next to it, a Necro Kitty. You have to forgive me, I do not know the Undying Dynasty's name so well. I'll probably mix them up still with another name from another game. So bear with me a little bit. We have in the front there a unit of 10 archers, another unit of 14 archers behind. That's got his general and another character in there. Lich Priest, I think they're still called Lich Priest. Behind that we have the Casket on the hill. Next to the Casket we have the Colossus. He took the Colossus in the magic version as opposed to the offensive version. In front of the Colossus we've got another unit of 14 archers with another character in there. A unit of 15 Necropolis Guard in front of him. Next to them is another unit of Necropolis Guard. Now this one has halberds. The first one has shields. I believe it's that way, or maybe it's that. No, sorry. The first one I mentioned has halberds. The one on the far right has shields. Then further on the right, here's another unit of 10 archers and his 3 chariots. And further out from there, he has a unit of scouting cavalry. So my lines left to right, I have a unit of 10 mongrels, 2 Gore-Tex, a Razor Tusk, a unit of 8 Minotaurs, my Shaman Mage on a chariot, my BSB with a 1-up rerollable and the B-stacks on a chariot, my General with a 2-up, 4-up Blessed Sword and a Crown of Horns on a chariot, another standard chariot, and then over on this far side we have the Razor Tusk, my other unit of 10 mongrels, and his 5 fast cav. Now I have 2 units of Wild Horns in ambush, and he has a unit of the Necropolis Knights, the Snake Riders. We'll call them Snake Riders for all intents and purposes. And on the very far left, my unit of Gargoyles scouted him. And so this is the battlefield. Now we rolled up the diagonal deployment, and hold the center is the secondary scenario. For magic, I got the +1 strength and toughness. I got swarm of insects. I got the chilling howl and totemic summoning. I cannot recall which spells he got. What I can say is magic did not really. I don't think it really had a huge part to play in this game. As you'll see why. I cannot remember what items he has on his characters. I do know he has got the item that on his magic phase we both automatically get 6 dice, and then he rolls a d3 for his additional dice. After this game, I think he's removing that item. In discussion, I made it clear I don't think it's actually a very strong item. People, leave your comments below your opinion on that. I just find that it restricts your ability. Okay, it always gives you a solid magic phase. It just restricts your ability to get overpowering magic phases. So yeah. So let's go into turn 1. Now I let him drop first. He dropped 1 unit, and I dropped my whole army and took first turn. So my mongrels on the far right charge into his fast cab. Just want to clear them off the board quickly. And I believe that was my only charge. I moved up with my chariots. My minotaurs moved up. My Gore-Tex played around in the forests, just tempting his kiddies to charge in. My Razor Tusk made a beeline forward. Now, this was quite a smart play on my part. It was lined up that if he charged it with either of his kiddies, the overrun would not take him into any of my units. If he charged with an Acropolis Guard, the overrun was probably a 10 or 11 for them to get into a Gore-Tex. And basically it was there to force him to dedicate shooting or magic to it, as that Razor Tusk on his own could start getting into those archer units and doing quite a bit of damage. So quite a clever play there, just try and chaff things up and threaten on him. My gargoyles on the left maneuver around their impassable, just to basically give them a capability of a flank charge into either his casket or one of those units of archers in the next turn. We go into the magic phase, and I get 9 dice. I actually don't channel a single time in this entire game. I believe this is one of the few spells I actually got off in the game. Casting, totemic summoning, and getting 15. He was unable to stop it, and so I brought Totem into his backfield, angled so that it would be able to charge into his casket in the next turn. We go into shooting, and my unit of mongrels on the left try and make some pot shots at that war kitty, just to see if I can pick a wound or 2 off, just for fun. Don't do anything. And then into combat, we suffer 1 wound to the skeletons, and I think we do 2 wounds back, and he crumbles on 2. So yeah, I was hoping to just knock that unit out completely. But I mean, it's chaff on chaff, you never know really. And we go into Undying Dynasties, turn 1. So, no movement of note. He brings his fast cab on the left up to try and be able to shoot at my gargoyles, but otherwise he just holds his lines exactly as they were. Go into his magic phase. Now I can never remember which dice was used for channel and which dice was used for what do you call it, for his additional D3 for his item. I believe he was using the red dice to channel. So we'll just give him an 8 dice magic phase. He manages to put 4 wounds onto the left Gore-Tex using the casket bounce bell. Outside of that, he wasn't able to do anything else in magic. I was able to shut it down. He tried dedicating the rest of his magic phase to that Razor Tusk, which worked quite well. He did manage to plick off 2 wounds on the Razor Tusk in shooting, but I was fine with that. The Razor Tusk did his job there and still survived it. In the combat with the mongrels and his fast cab, it was a push, no changes either side. So, turn 2, Beast Turds, the Blood Hunt. And this is where I say my all-time favourite. Let's just go all in and see what happens. So, Chariot, standard Chariot on the right charges into his archers. I've decided to chuck my general in there as well, just because I want to clear out those archers and be able to reform and threaten his flanks afterwards. The Minotaurs charge the frontmost unit on the Necropolis Guard with the halberds. The Razor Tusk charges into the unit of 10 archers, along with the wounded Gortek, and the Gargoyles charge into the casket. So the Gargoyles get in, so do the Gortek and the Razor Tusk. As so, my General and the Minotaurs fail their charge. Both of them failed their charge. I was a bit disappointed there. The Raiding Chariots got into his unit of archers though. And then with random movers, we got the, I'm going to call him, what I call him, Yeti. He's the Yeti model from GW. The Totem, that's the one. We get the Totem into the casket as well, just to chuck something extra in there. And the board looks like this. After movement, my Gore-Tex stays in the forest, just staying there to threaten that Necro Kitty and offer dangerous terrain if he decides to come at me. Mongrels stay down as they are. The Materials of Ambushes come in the backfield. One of them is in rank file formation facing at the flank of that unit of Necropolis Guard with shields. The other one is coming behind his chariots, just intending to, well, basically throw axes and see what happens. Now, there's a bit of manoeuvring going on in turn 1 with that Razor Tusk there, where I moved him into position so that if the chariots had charged me, they would have to take dangerous terrain in the water. He elected to stay put and shoot, doing 1 wound to the Razor Tusk. So, in this turn, I was able to push that Razor Tusk up to his flank, meaning he wasn't able to charge me and get away from my Wild Horns. We go into the magic phase. I get an 8 dice magic phase, and I cast onto my Minotaurs the Black Wing Totem. Other than that, that was all of the magic I got done. I believe my Mongrels tried shooting into his fast cav. I believe we picked off a couple there, but I don't seem to have a photo of it. Going into the rest of shooting, the Wildhorns in formation take a wound off the Necropolis Guard, and the other unit of Wildhorns managed to knock off 2 wounds on the chariots. Combat, my Mongrels finally killed that last fast cav and reformed phase. And the chariot versus the archers. Now, I apologise in regards to the blurry picture. Lighting was a struggle in this place. I found very good lighting, very bright lighting, and I found a lot of issues with blurriness trying to take the photos. So chariot goes in and rolls a 1 for its impact hits. Now, this is something that is a reoccurrence all across this game. I don't think I rolled anything more than a 1 for impact hits with all my chariots, so quite disappointed there. After all is said and done, we only kill off 5 archers, so not how I'd planned on that going. The Gore-Tex and Razor Tusk into the archers, make quick and short work of them and overrun into the archers behind. And against the casket, we blew it up. It got to swing and took a wound off the totem, but that was it. Blew it up, and to be honest, it probably killed off about 8-9 skeletons across the board. It did a wound to the Necro. No, it didn't do a wound to the Necro Kitty. Didn't do a wound to any of my models except for, well, killed off the totem, and it did 2 wounds to the Gargoyles, causing the Gargoyles to panic and flee. Outside of that, it didn't do really any damage to his stuff. And yeah, we go into bottom of turn 2, Undying Dynasty. So in his turn, he charged the Necro Kitty down into the Gore-Tex in the forest, took a DT on the forest. He charged the War Kitty into the flank of the wounded Gore-Tex. Wounded Gore-Tex wasn't able to regain any of its wounds in the last combat, so it is going to be a dead Gore-Tex. And and he reforms his Necropolis Guard on the right to face the oncoming Wild Horns and his chariots to be able to shoot at that Razor Tusk again. Magic phase, I believe this time he got a 9 on the magic phase, 9 to 6, but it didn't do anything for him. We go into shooting, he shoots the chariots into the Razor Tusk and doesn't do a single wound. And we go into combat. We start with the Gore-Tech against the Necro Kitty, and before the Initiative 1 Necro Kitty even gets a chance to swing, my Gore-Tech manages to pull off two sixes, goes through all his saves, and does exactly 5 wounds, butchering the kitty before it gets a chance to swing. So good on you, Gore-Tech. Into the combat with the other Gore-Tech, not so lucky. Between the kitty and the Necro Guard, both the Gore-Tech and Razor Tusk were killed. The War Kitty reforms to face the onslaught that is incoming. Combat with my chariot, we do a wound each and it's a push. I'm really disappointed that my chariot didn't manage to pull off most of that unit with impact hits. Was really expecting to roll at least average on those in that first round of combat, but it is what it is, I guess. And we go into turn 3, the Blood Hunt. So turn 3, the Blood Hunt. Again, we're going all in. So up the top there, the Wild Horns are charging into the flank of his chariots. The other unit of Wild Horns are charging into his Necropolis Guard. My General is charging into the flank of his Necropolis Guard. My BSB is charging into his Necropolis Guard with halberds. And my Minotaurs and my Gore-Tech are charging into his War Kitty. And in typical beast herds, we all get in. My gargoyles rallied on the far left there, and yeah, nothing happened in magic. Going to shooting, my unit of 10 mongrels managed to flick off another 2 wounds on his fast cab, so they were almost dead. My chariot combat is exactly the same. Basically, he does a wound to me, I do 2 wounds to him, I believe. We stick. Combat with his chariots, we just pants him before he even gets a chance to swing, and reform as such. Going into my BSB versus his Necropolis Guard, we go in, we roll the impact hits, and we roll a 1. So between impact hits and close combat attacks, we pick off 1, 2, 3 wounds. Really disappointing. He does a wound back to me. He doesn't have a rank left now, so we crumble him down to 4 models remaining, which is alright. I did hope to blow through it again with impact hits, but apparently it's just not my day. Combat against his War Kitty. We put 3 wounds onto the kitty. He puts 4, maybe we put 4 wounds onto the kitty. I can't remember how many wounds we put on. But he puts 4 wounds onto my Gore-Tech. No, I must have got a spell off my magic phase because we used that skeleton as a token for it. And I can't remember. Oh, I got +1 strength off on the Gore-Tech. That's what it was. Just to try and just to be able to wound him on 5s instead of 6s. But we made short work of the kitty. So we overrun as such with the Minotaurs connecting into his... I believe it's his General's bunker. Maybe it's not. Maybe the General's in the unit next to it. Either way, into the skeletons that were hurt by the other Gore-Tech and Razor Tusk previously. In the combat with my Wild Horns and my General. General goes in, rolls his impact hits, and boom. 1 impact hit. 1 fucking impact hit. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So... basically, we auto delete the unit anyway. I'm still frustrated about that 1 impact hit, so I don't know how that happens. He managed to pick off 1, 2, 3 wounds onto the Wild Horns. That was it. And we reform as such to threaten his Colossus on the hill just outside his picture, or the unit of archers standing there. No, that unit of archers, that's the one with his general. That's the one. And yeah, we go into bottom of turn 3, Undying Dynasties. Not a lot happens in Chris's turn here. He moves the Colossus off the hill, just in line of sight of the Gore-Tech, hoping to flick off those last 2 wounds on the Gore-Tech to get the points. We spend a lot of time talking here because he's realizing at this point he's lost the game. It's just how much can he minimize the loss. So we debated for a little bit whether it was worth him trying to kill off my general who's on full health, or just aim and pick off those 2 wounds on the Gore-Tech. I said go for the Gore-Tech, you need the points, and that's what he did. His Snake Surfers finally appeared on the battlefield. I say finally, it's only turn 3. They failed to come in previous turn and plants himself right behind my mage. So could easily lose the mage there, but he's given me enough room that I believe that I can move the mage out of the Fort Arc. We go into his magic phase. Again, I believe it's another 9 dice magic phase. And I cannot remember for the life of me what he cast. He cast something onto the Necropolis Guard or something. He brought up evocation on them, is all I remember. And he brought them back up to almost full health, which was really frustrating. We're going to combat with the Chariot. And Chariot finally punks that Archer, but not before taking another wound. So it's on 3 wounds. It's only got 1 wound left. And I reformed that to face... I don't believe that's actually where I end up reforming it. I believe I reformed it to face down to the Snake Surfers in the end. We go into combat with my BSB. He swings. He kills off another 2, 4, 5, 6. Another 6 guys. I believe that's probably with Crumble as well. I've just lost it. And he managed to put another 2 wounds onto my BSB, so it's not looking too good for my BSB. I believe I will win the grind. It just depends on how many more evocations he gets off, or if I send something in to support the BSB. Definitely not hoping for impact hits from a Chariot to do so, because they're doing nothing this game. And my Minotaurs make short work of his archers and overrun as such, giving them an easy shot straight into his Colossus in my next turn. And at this point, it's my beginning of turn 4, and Chris just calls the game. Basically, after this, it was a whitewash. All he has left is the unit of Snake Surfers, a couple of Necropolis Guard, a full unit of archers with characters, and the Colossus. And with everything lined up, I had multiple options of what I could do. Basically, put it down to the Minotaurs were going into the Colossus. I was putting the General and the Wild Horns into his archers, possibly even the other Chariot. Or I'd turn I'd probably turn the other Chariot and the General around to face the Snake Surfers and move the Mage out of line of sight. But basically, it was a whitewash. We were going to get the center. I had enough turns to move that unit of Wild Horns up the top down to it. So yeah, really fun game, really fast game. A lot of learning a bit of learning for both of us actually. I don't think Chris will carry on running a Colossus in his list. That's what this list was based around, was testing the Colossus. And I don't think it really gave him what he was hoping for. So I'm looking forward to my next game against him. It's always a fun game against Chris. He's a great sport. So yeah, Invitationals is coming up this weekend. I know I've got one more game planned before that, which I'll hopefully get a battle report out on. It'll probably either be against Ogres or Vampire Coven. And yeah, I'm not sure yet as to whether I will bring you guys battle reports from Invitationals. It's one of those things that I don't feel comfortable yet doing it in a tournament scenario. Just because of speed and concentration. It's so easy for me to either get distracted and forget to take photos, or get distracted by the taking of photos and trying to remember everything that I screw up in the game itself. So we'll see what happens. I know I'll be having a game on the Monday, so I'm going up and staying in Papakura over the weekend with Tom, our co-captain, and Jack from Australia. and then on Sunday I'm driving over to Hamilton to stay with none other than Blame the Dice, having a hobby night hopefully, getting an early Monday morning game in, so hopefully I'll be able to bring that game to you in a battle report. It's always a fun time whenever I'm with BTD, and I haven't seen this guy in over a year, so we've got all this, what do you call it, I was about to say pent up fun needing to have, so pent up fun needing. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like this video, comment if you have any comments down below, would love to hear from you, and subscribe to the channel, hit like on the Facebook page. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Take it easy.